Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Logan and welcome to the channel, where today we are going to be reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Dark Web. And this has actually been a pretty highly requested video to make, so today we are finally going to be hopping into this story. And right off the bat, we can see that there are some custom pictures that the guy who made this story made. So right here we got one that says The Dark Web Saga, so I'm guessing there's like more than one part to this story, and I'm all for that, because that means that the story was good enough that the guy who was making it actually took the time to make different parts of the story. Let's go ahead and look at the other picture, which is actually like the cover of the story, and we can see Greg over here with a bunch of shit on his shirt, and he looks like he's just been going on the dark web for quite a while now. I have not read anything about the story, so I'm completely in the dark. I have no clue what's gonna happen. The story looks pretty interesting, so why don't we hop in and get started with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Dark Web, August, Wednesday. Something really interesting happened today. At school, Albert Sandy was saying some random things as usual, but today, something caught my attention. He was talking about something called the dark web, and how you could make really easy cash on it by doing crazy things. But there are consequences, like people kidnapping or even killing you. Knowing myself, I would obviously go for the gold, but that last part really set me off. Is it really worth getting money? I'll just see about this myself. The first thing when I got home was get on the computer. After some research, I found it. Another thing, I found out that it is not a piece of cake getting that money. The first thing I gotta do is sell someone to the the black market. And of course no one's gonna wanna do that. But I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Ready to go to the North Pole? Thursday, $15,000. Maybe it is this easy. I have so much money now that I don't know what to do with. The only problem is that mom and dad might find out about Manny. You think? Their kid just goes missing and they're not gonna try to find out what happened? Well, first of all, I don't think dad would care at all, so my main problem is mom. But I don't have to worry anymore. Since I had gotten all that money, I guess you could say I'll be paying Shirok from now on. Friday, time to let the secret out. I'm wealthy now. I just pulled out some of my green paper and everyone started sucking up to me. The same day I went up to Albert Sandy to ask about more advice. With the bit of information he gave me, I'm gonna make more than a lousy 15,000. The first thing I did after school was go to Rowley's house. My plan is this. When he's not looking, I'll put a secret camera, stream it, and see if I get any donations. Let's just say my plan was a success. Saturday. The next day I checked the stream and it has over 17,000 people watching it. At the end of the day I had over $50,000. Then I got in a text from someone, James. Hey, can I kill this kid? Do what you want, he's not mine. Cool. Also, I'll buy another one from you for 1.5 mil. First of all, if you don't know who James is, he's the guy who sold me money. What? He sold you money? What does that even mean? Second of all, of course I accepted the offer. Who would turn down $1.5 million? Also, who am I gonna sell? I guess I had a feeling of selling Fregley. I don't really care about him, but if it's making me cash, then I don't care. So I sent James his address. Sunday. I went up to the street and hid behind the bushes in Fregley's front yard so I could get a look at this James character, and surely enough, he came. Also, I couldn't make out his details very well because he had a mask on. After he put Fregley in his van, he went down to my house and put something in the mailbox. I went down there and it was my 1.5 mil. Monday. School was cancelled today because of a thunderstorm warnings or whatever. So what else was I gonna do all day but do some more dark web stuff? I remembered that the other day I went up to Holly to flex on her, but she didn't care. So maybe there was a way I can make her mine. Fortunately, there is. So I hired a random person off a website to bring her to my against her will. Seems fair enough. That's when I realized what I was doing is messed up. I'm so freaked out that all I did was leave her out there. I don't want to do this anymore. Tuesday. Oh shit, I forgot all about it. This guy just left her outside for days? Holy shit, this guy is slow. I ran outside and I was too late. Apparently thought it was another track. Okay, whoever wrote this, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but you're missing like a lot of words. So I guess there's nothing to do now. She's gone forever. Wednesday, I don't want to do this anymore. Today I texted James that I was done selling him stuff, but he texted me something that I didn't expect. Meet me behind Papa Tony's. Okay, I know it might not be the smartest idea, but after doing business together, I think I can trust him. Later during that night, I snuck out and went behind Papa Tony's just like he said, and there he was. I thanked him for helping me get that money, then I asked him why he wanted me to come here. He said he had something in the back of his van that he wanted to show me, so he got out and we walked to the back of the van. But as soon as he opened the door, he grabbed the collar of my shirt and threw me into the trunk. Talk about bad service. So now here I am, in the back of a creepy guy's van driving down the road going to who knows where. Who knows what awaits me. To be continued. So this is what I'm talking about, how there's like different parts of the story. So the first part was just Greg doing some shady dark web stuff, and then he's kidnapped. Now we go on to the second part, which is, let's see, Diary of Wimpy Kid, Dark Web Part 2, Shipped Away. Maybe 30-40 minutes after I was thrown into the van by James, probably not his real name, we arrived at an abandoned building. After James got out and opened the doors, I tried to make an escape, but he zapped me. Then he said, please, don't make this hard. I don't want to be tased again, so I did as he said. We walked inside of the building and then into a room, and he told me to sit down, pulled out his phone and called someone saying he's here. After James hung up, it got really quiet. I asked him what that phone call was all about, and he said that he had to call his boss. Then I asked him what this place was and what his boss was going to do to me, and he said that he didn't know. I was still really confused on why he would do this to me because I trusted him, so I asked him why he kidnapped me. All he said was this: if you don't shut up, I'm gonna tase you again or worse. I decided to keep my mouth shut. I guess that was a good idea because his boss walked in, and I couldn't believe who it was. Hey Greg! It was Albert Sandy. How and why? You know, for a second, I thought it was gonna be Manny, which would have been fucking hilarious because Greg was the guy who sold Manny. And with these fucking fanfictions, again, it's always Manny. I don't know what it is. There's just something about him that, like, every single person who makes a fanfiction, they always pick him to be, like, the bad guy or, like, the plot twist in the end. I don't know why, but, I mean, it's really funny at this point because it's always Manny. Like, just watch. There's going to be something with Manny that's significant to this story near the end. Just watch. I must have been dreaming, so I told James to tase me again, and he did. This wasn't a dream. I asked Albert where I was, and he said it was his headquarters. Then he asked me if I wanted a tour of this place. This isn't Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but what else was I supposed to say? So he led me through the building. One of the rooms on the tour that Albert showed me was where he would ship yogurt and drugs, but mostly yogurt. But the strange part is that Fregley was there. Even Manny was there. My organ harvesting room. Help, Bubby. Well, it looks like we know where Manny is, and doesn't look like he's having a great time. So, he's probably not going to come back. You know, no matter of fact, because of this, he's definitely going to come back and get revenge on Greg or some bullshit. I don't fucking know. All of this seemed cool. What? And all, but I wanted to know how this all started, and I asked. So he got to the point. He made this place his headquarters back when middle school started, when he got into all this dark web stuff. Then he bought James as his slave, okay, to help him with all his dirty work. But after a few years, the service of selling yogurt and organs took off, and he wanted new people to work for him. He didn't want to use his money on buying people, so he decided to use someone from school. For some reason, he thought I would be the perfect person who would like doing this stuff, so he brought it up to me because he knew that I would be curious. So he decided to do tests on me. He hacked into my computer, so whenever I pay anyone to do something for me, it would be James. So finally, after a while of seeing what I do, he asked me if I wanted to work for him. So I gave him his answer. I'm sorry, but no. He looked kind of confused for a second and then laughed. He said that wasn't a good choice. He then snapped his fingers and James started to walk towards me. This obviously didn't look good, so I made a run for it. I guess it was good that I got that tour because I knew how to get around that place. From looking back, he didn't look like he was in a hurry, so I guess that could buy me some time. After running down a few corridors, I ran into a room and hid behind a table, but apparently it didn't take him long to find me. I could See you, Greg. But he didn't have a little old taser this time. He had a gun. I wasn't planning on dying this soon, so I told him that I had an idea where nothing bad could happen. I was lucky because he actually put his gun out of my face and told me to make it quick. So I told him that if we both escape, then we don't have to hear from Albert ever again. And he said he liked that idea, but I asked him why he didn't escape in the first place. James said that he couldn't escape because Albert installed a shock collar on his ankle, so whenever James doesn't do his bidding, he'll shock him. So I grabbed a hammer that was on the table and started to bash at it, and it actually came off. He was ticked off because he thought I was going to snap off his ankle. After all that, we started to get the heck out of there. James said that there was exit a few turns from running, but as we were doing that, we accidentally ran into Albert Sandy. He asked us where we were going, and believe it or not, James said, "Get out of my way, you lump of pork," and beat the tar out of him. Then after pushing through the exit of the building, we hopped into James' van and started to drive out of there. I asked him what we were going to do about Albert, and he said that he had control of all this explosive yogurt below the building, and he pressed a button on a remote looking thing. To be continued. Alright, now we're on to the third part, which is called Diary of Wimpy Kid Dark Web Part 3, Red Room. November. Wow. I haven't written this for a while. To sum it all up, I haven't written this for a long time because everything has just gone back to normal, I guess. Aside from me paying Shirog to pretend to be my brother. Me and James started a bond recently and have become really good friends. What the heck? Holy fuck, that's a whole decapitated head. Okay. But I came back to my journal for a specific reason. James has been acting really absent lately. I would always text him and he wouldn't respond. He would always leave me on red. And he's not the only one acting strange. Rowley is as well. I went up to him today and he just pushed me away. Go suck on an egg, Greg. Then fine, I don't need Rowley. I have James. I hope. Tuesday. I started jumping to conclusions about James today. I'm thinking, what if this has to do with Albert? But that's impossible. He's dead. Yeah, he has access to different and illegal things, but I don't think he could find something to make him immortal. So I'm gonna go up to his blown up HQ to see if I can find anything. But there is a problem. How do I get there? I asked Shirog if he had any ideas, and he said that he knows a guy who could get us a car. How do you know about this guy? You don't want to know. Anyway, Shirog brought me downtown behind a sketchy building, and I met this guy that Shirog was talking about. His name is Dominic. What are you doing out back here, shrimp? I'm here to get a car. Boss said I could use it if I wanted. The hell? Shirog isn't on this sketchy shit? Oh my god, who isn't at this point? After getting all that out of the way, we got into the car and started driving to Albert's destroyed HQ. You might be wondering, how do I know where it is? Well, it's quite simple. When me and James were friends, he told me where it was, a few miles away from Plainview. When we got to the HQ, it was nothing but rubble. Well, besides the giant piles of yogurt everywhere. After looking through the junk a little bit, I noticed something. Albert's body was nowhere to be found. There's nothing else we could do there, so we got back into the car and drove back home. Wednesday. None of this is making any sense. First James goes missing, Rowley's mad at me, and Albert's body is gone. And now Rowley is suddenly acting nice to me. How's it going, Greg? I don't know if he's bipolar or something now, but it's getting kinda strange. Another thing he asked me today is if I could spend the night at his house. So I agreed because I think it'll get my mind off of things. But I'm bringing Shirog too if anything weird happens. Friday. I knew it. As soon as me and Shirog opened Rowley's front door, a giant piece of lard smacked us in the head with a metal bat. When I woke up, me and Shirog were tied up inside a moving van. Here we go again. Shirog was already awake and he asked me what was going on, and I told him I didn't know, until Rowley told us to shut our mouths. Quiet back there. I'm surprised you know how to drive. Eventually we got to our destination and we were at another building in the middle of nowhere. Rowley motioned us inside. Rowley took us into a room that had Albert and James inside, but James was tied up too. I still didn't want to talk to him though, so I started asking Albert all the questions. You're supposed to be dead. How are you alive? Simple. I shielded myself with my amazing yogurt. Of course you would. Why is James here? Since he called me a lump of pork, I kidnapped him, stole all of his stuff, and tortured him. Where am I? My boss, Mr. S, landed me the building. That's when I told Albert to cut to the chase. He said that he brought me here so he can torture me too. But he doesn't need James anymore and doesn't need Chirag. So Riley kicked them out and locked the door shut and started to walk me into the other room. The room was lit red and it had a chair in the middle. I didn't know if I was hallucinating, but I swear there was bloodstains on there. After they strapped me down, Albert said that he was going to grab some tools. As soon as Albert left the room, I asked Riley why he was so mad at me, and he said that it was because Albert told him that I put a camera in his room. That's also why he joined Albert. I had completely forgot about the camera. I guess everything has been going by so fast. It felt like yesterday when I joined the dark web. I told Riley I was sorry and I was getting ahead of myself and I wouldn't do anything like that ever again, but he didn't say anything. That's when Albert came in carrying a saw and a hammer, and I couldn't even tell what the other thing was. I'm back. Albert put everything on the table and did eeny meeny miny mo with them, and it landed on the saw. He walked over to me and started to saw my leg off. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Right when the saw started gnawing on my bone, I passed out. I woke up with Albert slapping my face. I guess he was waking me up. I couldn't feel my leg and I didn't even want to look at it. But what I did see was Albert telling Riley to cut off my arm. Your turn, Riley. Cut off his arm. I guess the whole Joshy stuff paid off though because Riley said no. Right before Albert could do anything, James and Chirag busted down the door and grabbed Albert. After wrestling that fat warthog, they tied him up and knocked him out. After losing so much blood, I passed out. Monday. I guess it's time to catch up with you on what happened. After I passed out, James, Chirag, and Riley helped me out with my leg. We all got into the van. To take care of Albert, they put him in a bag, tied weights on him, and tossed him over a bridge. The next day, James took me to the hospital for my leg and paid the hospital bill. Then he went on the dark web and bought me a cool robot leg as a new one. Other than that, me and Riley became friends again, and I'm still paying Chirag to pretend to be my younger brother. It's gonna be a while before I forget all about all this, so I'm gonna just put the past behind me. The end. Alright, and it looks like that is the final page in this story. Not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a little bit longer than that, but nevertheless, still a really good story. What I'm kind of, missing is that the fact that there's no Roderick in this. It would have been funny if he, sold Roderick, or Roderick was, one of the people working for Albert, or whatever, something like that. And something that surprised me is no Manny. Usually in stories like this, Manny is always the guy behind it. He is just, he's fucking evil. Let's just put it like that. Because this guy is always up to something. And he's always up to no good. So, seeing him just like a normal kid, he was strapped on to the thing. He was an, quote-unquote, organ donor. No, he's not. That guy was just getting his organs taken out. That was nasty. R.I.P. Manny, man. This guy did nothing and he got killed. Usually it's him, fucking everything up and then, but, that was a good twist. Not everything was about Manny this time. That felt kind of fresh because a lot of the stories we read is Manny. That was the story. I hope all you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Diary from Wimpy Kid fan fiction stories. But that's it for me. I hope all of you guys have a good rest of your day or your night if you're watching this, in the night. Once again, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.